קודם כל, שבוע טוב לכולם. Welcome everyone. Motzi Shabbos. Lech Lecha. So many things to see, so many things to say. That's just an interesting thing. There was a kiddush in the shul today. And the person was the yotzeit of his mother. And he said a very interesting thing. He said, sort of like fits with Mama Rochel. The yotzeit was last Thursday. It says, Lech Lecha מארצך ומולדתך ומבית אביך. So the guy says, why does it say Bet Avicha? It doesn't say Bet Imecha. So he says that you're never really out of your mother's home. Your father's home, okay, you go, you make your own home, whatever it is. But you're always in your mother's home. It's pretty fits. The Shechina is the mother. And when the mother's home, even when things are not the way they're supposed to be, everything is okay. When the mother's not home, even if everything is peachy, nothing is okay. We should not know from Tzar, a person does not understand what does it mean, Golus HaShechina, until Lo Aleinu Lo Chemim Shanim, that his mother passes on. That's when a person fully understands there's no home to get back to. השם יעזור לכולנו בעזרת השם, זוכר את הגילוי שכינה בעזרת השם. ובמור גודל, says הגודל, זו גילוי שכינה. We have a great fear now. מור גודל זה גילוי שכינה בעזרת השם. Just a little bit about a shmuz b'derech remez. This is not the principle is right, but it's not that the Baal Tanya says that, I don't know if I've probably said it before, but anyhow, the Baal Tanya says that we know that Amtokas Adinim happens in the roots of everything. And it says, En Adin Nimtak El V'Shoshay. And in the shorish of the din, in the very beginning of the din, the same reason to bring about dinim is the same reason why the dinim should not be brought about b'chlal. And the Baal Tanya in Kavonas Mikveh Baal Shem Tov in the Siddur, he says, he brings an example, and the example is that before the Mabul, Kadosh Baruch Hu says he's going to wipe off humanity. Why? Ki yetzer lev ha'adam rak machshavos libo rak kol hayom. The thought of man is just bad all day long. And after the Mabul, Kadosh Baruch Hu swears that he will never bring Mabul again. Why? Ki yetzer lev ha'adam ra menu'urav. Because the man's evil inclination is bad from the onset. So you see that the same reason to bring a Mabul and to finish off humanity is the same reason to never bring the deluge, the Mabul, ever again. Because when you're on the top, before the din goes down, before it is decided, and this is the letter Aleph of the Shem Kodesh of Spheres HaKesed, which is Aleph Ke Yud Ke, Shem Eke. So the Aleph of Shem Eke, this is when the Shorish is. It's before Eke in Hebrew is yeah, I'm going to be. In other words, it's not yet. It's before the present. It's like the not future. So the Aleph is when it can still go this way or that way. So this is the Shor Sham Tokas Adinim. Now the Mishkan, remember what I'm saying now is a Piremes. It's not the Mishkan was covered, with Kisuim of Tcheles and Ortachas, and on top it was covered with sheath of Uris Izim, the skins of goats. Izim is Azim, is Vuris. And those covering of the Mishkan, they represent the Makifim. The Makifim are that which guard us from the outside. That's the thing that envelops us and keeps us safe. Now, the Rios Izim, the sheath of Izim, were 11, very, very long, 11 of them. And they were put together in a group of 5, in a group of 6, and they were connected with 50 hooks of gold in loops of tchelas. What is this union of 5 and 6? Why not the whole thing one thing? Why not 10? Exactly, Esa, the 10 is the Kedusha. As we said, the Aleph is the Ina Famtokas Adinim. That's the Shmira for everything. There is one pasuk in the entire Tanakh where you have 5 words, consecutive words, that begin with the letter Aleph. And that pasuk is Amar, Oyev, Erdof, Asig, Achalek, Shalal. 5 Aleph. That's the threat. On the other hand, there's the answer from Tokas Adina. There's one pasuk in the entire Tanakh where you have 6 words, consecutive words. They start with the word Aleph, each one. And that is by Yosef, when the brothers came before him. And they says, Vayoimru ish el achiv aval Hashemim anachnu. It is the natural tendency of people in a situation like the one that we are in today to either find who is guilty or to say what needs to be done. I understand the reason why they do it. They do it because people feel helpless. So when you sort of clean it, you know who's to blame, or you know what needs to be done, you have like a dimion, some semblance of control. Okay, control. I know what needs to be done. I know whose fault it is. But it's all nonsense. The thing that Bezat Hashem will defend all of us when you have Amar Oyev Erdof Asig Achalek Shalav, is V'yamu Ish El Achiv Aval Ashemim Anachnu. They said one person to his brother, to his brethren, we, collectively are guilty. We all have to make tshuva. B'ezrat Hashem, that together will be a shmir to Klal Yisrael. So, we'll move along, B'ezrat Hashem, Sipurey Baal Shem Tov. And the Sipurey Baal Shem Tov this week is the story about a very wealthy person that decided that he is going to write, B'ezrat Hashem, a Sefer Torah, the like of which cannot be found anywhere. And so he went and they grew cattle specifically for that cause. And they took the cattle and they slaughtered them and they gave the meat to poor people in a stoker to eat. And then he employed like the most exquisite sefer you can find. He took the sefer to his own house. He gave him, a weekly retainer, plus the fact he sits in this rich man's house, eats on his table together with his entire family, so you don't have any kind of worries about parnasa, everything. And the sefer wrote a perfect sefer Kinah Nahara. It took a long time. Then it was done. So now in the same, and it's obviously the rich person for the Achnasa Sefer Torah, he prepared a big Suda and he invited everybody. Now, in this particular town, there was one very simple Jew who was saying a lot of Tehillim. And obviously, unbeknownst to anyone, especially not the person who was saying Tehillim himself, it was his Tehillim that was guarding the entire city, the entire town. So the Suda came, and everybody came, and that person that was saying Tehillim, everybody knows is the one that says Tehillim. Simple Jew. He came, and he was very hungry. And he thought that the people already washed. He wasn't sure. So since he was hungry, he decided he's going to wash. And as he was doing that, the rich person, the host, caught him and really gave him a what for. Gave him the dickens. What is this? Who do you think you are? You're the most important person because you're saying Tehillim. All the Rabbanim, all whatever it is, you wash before everybody. And he sent him away. After the Surah that night, that rich person was sitting in his house. When his servant came and told him there's somebody outside that is calling him. So he went outside. There was nobody outside. He stepped out, and a whirlwind, just took him. It took him to the middle of the forest. Now, and he heard a voice that says, in that particular house, in the middle of the forest, there's David HaMelech. And there is Rabbi Sichos Baal Shem Tov. And this Yid is standing outside his house, and he hears everything that's going on. So David HaMelech says that he is calling this rich person, he's calling it to Ladin, to a mishpat. He says, I beg before HaKadosh Baruch Hu that saying Tehillim will be as important as Negoim and Oles. and you have this Yid that's saying Tehillim, and this person, this rich person, humiliated him and shooed him away. He says, who do you think you are? You just Tehillim Zuger, and that's it. So he's Tavei him Lemishpat. So Beis Din Shel Mala decided he's right. And they're going to take this rich person away from this world. Baal Shem Tov said, just a second, I have what to say about this. He says, what do you have to say about this? He said, if you take this rich person away from the world, how will anybody ever know how important Saint Tehillim is? This can only happen if you let him survive. And he will tell everybody about this, what happened. Then people will know how important Tehillim is. So, Shaman said, sounds good. So they said they're going to go to this person outside and ask him which verdict does he prefer. The one to take him away from this world, or to go back, the one of that suggested by the Sichos Baal Shem Tov, to go back, to get back and tell everybody about what happened. Obviously, to ask Mechila from that person of St. Tehillim in front of everybody. The person says, obviously, he prefers the second one. So they asked him, do you know who the Baal Shem Tov is? He says, no, he doesn't know who he is. But they said he lives 5 miles away from Mezhigah. And he doesn't know anything about the Baal Shem HaKadosh. He says, you live right in his proximity and you never bothered to find out who the Baal Shem Tov is and go to him. They decided that you're going to go back to the first verdict. You have to be taken away from this world. Baal Shem Tov comes in again. And he says, but the same teretz, it's not about me. It's about knowing the value of saying Tehillim. As for him not knowing me, okay, you'll make on himself that when he gets back home, he'll come to see me. The fact that he has not bothered to find out who I am is normal. When everything goes good, people allow themselves, they feel confident, they don't need anybody, don't need any Yeshuas, whatever. So he'll be Mekabel himself, he'll come to see me, settle. So Mishamayim, again, they asked, they said, okay, we'll give this person, again, 2 chances. Do you want to leave this world, or you want to go and do everything we said before and go to the Baal Shem HaKadosh? So he said, of course, I'll go, no problem. And the same wind took him and brought him back. He went to his house. He was in his house. And he made a great Suda. First of all, he called this Yid, this simple Jew that was saying Tehillim, he called him over and begged him for Mechila and made a big shindig, a big Suda in front of everybody in honor of this Jew, because he's the one who's saying Tehillim, and with the schos of him saying Tehillim, he is protecting all the people in town. And then when this was done, and he asked him Mechila in front of everybody, when this was done, this rich person took his wagon, whatever it is, and he went to Mezhigah to see Baal Shem HaKadosh. The minute he saw the Baal Shem HaKadosh, he recognized him, from that thing, and he fainted. Just done. And he wanted to say to Baal Shem HaKadosh, Baal Shem HaKadosh told him, I know everything. It's okay. And that's a story. The thing that we need to understand from this, first of all, of course, this union of the malo of saying Tehillim, a lot or little. The one thing that we need to understand is Rabbeinu said that Tehillim is really the Izbeidus of David HaMelech. David HaMelech was making his Beidus, he was making his Beidus under the cover, Bedim Ati al Siyamse. I'm like melting my bed, under the cover, talking to Kodesh Baruch Hu, there Kodesh Baruch Hu, to be Mekarim. The entire Tehillim is the Izbeidus of David HaMelech. David HaMelech is the heart of Am Yisrael. That's why every single Jew can find himself in the Tehillim. When you say Tehillim, mean it for yourself. So people said, one of the Hasidim said, but David HaMelech also says, Shamrei nikel ki chasidani. I'm a chassid, So should I be saying this about myself too? Rabbeinu says, yeah. You should know that you're chashuv. The emunah is not just that the Tehillim is chashuv. Obviously, the Torah is chashuv, the tzaddikim are chashuv. Baruch Hu, Vadai, what we're talking about, Am Yisrael is chashuv, Eretz Yisrael is chashuv. You are also chashuv. This is one thing. The second thing is the tzaddik emes is being mashgiach on the entire generation. It is something that we cannot understand. How can it be? We don't understand this. We just know that this is it. The tzaddik is aware of everybody and everything that is going on in his generation. And not only this, he intercedes for every Jew. Every Jew, whether it is chassid, is not as chassid, it doesn't matter. They all rest on the koyach of the tzaddik. Apropos of this, we spoke about, that which the Baal HaTanya brings, that the same reason, for din can be the same din for chesed, the same reason for chesed. The aleph that's in the very beginning is determined which way. Once it's already gone, it cannot be retrieved. Once it's already sealed, it starts going down, it's over. And this is the thing that each and every one of us needs to know. We see that there are people out there that have unbelievable chutzpah. Unbelievable chutzpah. They legitimize la aleinu kol davara. Kol davara. Kadosh Baruch Hu came to Moshe Rabbeinu right after the Chet HaEgel, and he told him that he wants to wipe out Tzon Yisrael and Shon Saginah, and he says, "Allow me, let me go, and we'll make an Am Yisrael 2.0 from you, Moshe Rabbeinu." Because Baruch Hu says, what is? Because Am Kshe Orefu. It's a stiff-necked nation. It makes such a chutzpah, such a shanda. Matan Torah, the Gemara says, "Oile kalo shezinsa betoch chuppah." Or for a kalo that was mezana under her chuppah, and what azus metzach, am ksheoref. And Moshe Rabbeinu said to HaKadosh Baruch Hu, "B'shum panim v'ofen," should let Am Yisrael live And Moshe Rabbeinu says, why? Ki am kshe orefu. Excuse me. The very reason to finish them off and to press the restart button is ki am kshe orefu. It's a stiff-necked nation. And the answer of Moshe Rabbeinu is, no, you should not do that. You know why? Because am kshe orefu. They're a stiff-necked nation. What's the seichel? The David Gvir has said something really wonderful about this. Kadosh Baruch Hu says, just look at what they're capable of. What chutzpah, what insolence. So Moshe Rabbeinu says, you know what this nation has to go through. They have to go through Churban Bayis Rishon. They have to go through Churban Bayis Sheni. They have to go through 5 exiles. They have to go through pogroms. They have to go through the Holocaust. They have to go through wars, and they have to go through whatever it is that happened 3 weeks ago. It is not possible that they will actually come out of these experiences without being stiff-necked. If they are not being stiff-necked, they will fall apart. They will never make it. Baruch agreed with him. And Achinami, the same Kshe Oref is amazing insolence. Chutzpah she'en kedugmasa. But it's this mila that enables them to survive all the Goliaths. Ashreinu, take this particular Am Kshe Oref quality about you and bring him to Tehillim. Rabbeinu says, say Tehillim every day. A lot, a little, tov me'ad b'kavanah, me'arbeh shelo b'kavanah. Just do it. This is the Ma'aseh from the Baal Shem HaKadosh. Let's take a look at Sichos Haran for this. Before we go to Sichos Haran, there's a little nakuda which I wanted to bring out about this particular point in time. You know, we all hear a lot, and we read a lot of Diburei Emunah, especially at this point in time. Some people claim, however, these Diburim cannot enter my heart. It's almost like slides off my back, like a water off a duck's back. It doesn't go in. And I don't understand why. I need Emunah so badly. So why doesn't it work on me? Why doesn't it influence me? I don't know if this particular thing is something that anyone of you actually is dealing with, but for sure you're hearing other people who are dealing with that. So this is the answer to this. We have to understand one thing. In order to be Mekabel Emunah, we need a place to store the Emunah, to accept it. A heart that is filled with different kinds of Emunahs will not have place to contain another Emunah. You have to empty the heart of other Emunahs as much as you can, obviously, so that there will be a place for Emunah to come back. And that's what they called, pinui binui. You have to first of all go out in order to rebuild. First of all, vacate, and then you can build. Let's say we need to take a look at where is our attention is focused these days. Will the Tahal IDF go, by foot, ground attack to Gaza or not? Which country in the world, is with us and which is against us? Does a specific politician responsible to this foul up or not? When we are filled with all this, when our heart is focused on all these things, it leaves very, very little place for emunah. You speak to somebody, so they tell them, this guy is guilty, this is what you're supposed to do, and Kadosh Baruch Hu does everything. In other words, like, after everything is said and done, it leaves very, very small place for Kadosh Baruch Hu does everything. The Geula comes from Kadosh Baruch Hu. After we already believe in our technological capabilities, unbelievable. And after we already know who is at fault and to what happened and why this particular mechdal happened. And only after we get this strengthening and chizuk from Umas Ha'olam, the enlightened Umas Ha'olam, only afterwards we sort of like, it don't, Kadosh Baruch Hu is actually responsible for all this. We are ma'aminim b'nei ma'aminim. So, within the space that is left between all the different beliefs, who's guilty, who's not, what we need to do, the technology, how superior we are, who is for us, who's against us, we can lean on America, we cannot lean on America, whatever. We're filled between those in those spaces, we're filled with emunah in HaKadosh Baruch Hu and His strength. But this emunah arrives after everything is already there. You have to like squeeze in our heart. Let's give a little example, to this kind of look. If Chas v'Chalila, I'm telling you, listen, there'll be a total war in the north and from the south. There's a great danger, Chas v'Chalila, that within 2 days there'll be no electricity, and a week without electricity will cause you and your family, Chas v'Chalila, an existential distress. A life without a refrigerator, without an oven, maybe without any food that needs to be cooked or be chilled, without any way to either heat, keep you warm or cool you, without any kind of communication device. What's the first thing that comes to your mind? It's not going to happen. Why not? Because we are a strong country. We have enough stuff in stock. Because we are going to show them what it is. We don't live in the medieval times. We know how to get along. And America's with us. And a whole line of world leaders are together with us, and they're strengthening us. And we have experienced politicians, this side, that side, whatever it is that can lead us. And HaKadosh Baruch Hu already showed us in this particular point in time that how in a second of ha'alama, of a storas panim, despite our unbelievable abilities, technologically superiority, whatever you want to call it, all the military superiority, that when HaKadosh Baruch Hu decides something, we are standing there totally helpless. Im Hashem lo yishmor ir, shav shakad shomer. It becomes so relevant, so palpable. It's spine-chilling. So what's so what's the solution? Channel all the doing, all the shtadlus, and even all the information to direction of emunah. First thing, this obsessive dealing with what will they say, what will they do. You can give it up. I'm not saying you shouldn't listen to anything, what's going on, whatever, but die. But don't put your head into this. What these states are saying, this leader's saying, that leader's saying, this one, that one. Let it go. You don't need it. We will do whatever it is we need to do in the best fashion possible, but the attention should be directed towards the Kadosh Baruch Hu. All the natural fears and terror and dreads we can feel. It's fine. It's okay. It's only natural. But let's do it together with Hashem's Baruch. Let's be afraid with the Kadosh Baruch. Let's be afraid by Him. We want nakama, we want revenge. Let's want it with Him. Let's be pained with the Kadosh Baruch. If we're going to do, of course, whatever it is we need to do in this time, spiritually, physically, in the front, in the back, we'll load it up with Dibur Emunah. Talk about Emunah, with feeling of Emunah. You know, what's happening now is only darkness. We don't see what needs to be and what will be. That's it. But everything is under control. When a child holds his father's hand and there is afsakat chashmal, the electrical, light out, the child holds his father's hands and he gets closer to his father. He's not afraid. Why? His father's not an electrician. He can turn on the light. Yeah, but he's my father. If you're holding his hand, even in the darkness, you'll feel the bitachon. In other words, our job at this particular point in time is to vacate as many spaces as we can in our heart and fill them with emunah. B'chavanat tchila. Emunah Hashem Yisbarach, that He is the one that is in control of everything. He's the one that leads everything. And Birtzano Hakol, everything happens with Ratzon Hashem, V'miyad Hakol. And from Hashem's hands, everything comes. Mat Hashem will be all right. Okay, let's take a look. Sichos Haran. This is very important. Hold on. Share screen. Here we go. Sicha 212. This is Reish Yud Beis. One time Rabbeinu says, Aloha ki Rab Nachman bedinei. It's a klal in the Gemara that whenever it's to eating of din, Aloha is Rab Nachman. And he said this about those who were against him. That was disputing him. And he says, Aloha bevadai kamisi. Ki Aloha ki Rab Nachman bedinei. Dine is a shol machlekes. When two people, dispute something before Beis Din. And this is what I heard. The Rebbe says, what I heard from his name. Look in the Gemara, Maseches Gittin, Perek HaSholeach, they said 3 times, Halacha ki Rab Nachman, Halacha ki Rab Nachman, Halacha ki Rab Nachman. The reason why this is so important is because we were in Uman in Rosh Hashanah, Baruch Hashem. We went through, Baruch Hashem, all kinds of trials and tribulations and tests to get there. Whoever could get there, whoever could not get there. Rabbeinu said, you bring me bricks and mortar. Which is our Torah and our mitzvahs, our Mesiras Nefesh, to Miskarta the Tzaddik. And he says, and I build buildings for them. The Rosh Hashanah Rabbeinu said is a matana from HaKadosh Baruch Hu, that he's the only one that knows this Indian of Rosh Hashanah. We said once Rosh Hashanah is the Indian of the first day is Dina Kasha, because it's still a blank slate. What's going to be that year? And the Tzaddik Adon has to go beyond time and place and find the first kind of tzimtzum. And in order to find the tzimtzum in infinity, in Ein Sof, you need a din, which can, like a dam that can stop a tsunami of Ein Sof, of infinity. That's the first day of Rosh Hashanah. The second day of Rosh Hashanah, there's already a beginning. There was preparedness the first day. That's why the second day is Dinah Rafia. It is a well-known thing that the dinim are being broken in Rosh Hashanah by Tkiyas Shefer. It's a known thing that a year when the first day of Rosh Hashanah is on Shabbos is a very dangerous year. Rabbeinu says, Rosh Hashanah Shali, Oile Ala Kol. My Rosh Hashanah is above everything. Rosh Hashanah is a time of din. What's going to happen in the world? And we need to keep it in our minds. Halacha kerav Nachman bedine. Halacha is like Rabbeinu when it comes to Shoshana and what's going to be in this world. We need to cry out to HaKadosh Baruch Hu and beg him to have Rachmanis on us. Oh, okay, all right. No. We need to do it. We need to cry out to HaKadosh Baruch Hu. We have to beg HaKadosh Baruch Hu to have Rachmanis on us. We have to say Tehillim, make us Beidatus, we have to ask HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Mufurash. Rabbeinu says, how is it possible that we are letting HaKadosh Baruch Hu, make decrees on us? He says we have to keep him busy. If you are busy with HaKadosh Baruch Hu, and you call HaKadosh Baruch Hu to bring you close to him, HaKadosh Baruch Hu throws everything away. So Sichos Haran, we learned that. He throws everything away, and he faces you and just deals with you. How do we have a proof for that? Yes. It is said, in the Parshas HaKlolos, and the man who is saying, Shalom alai nafshi elech b'shuyos li be'elech, I'm going to go the way my heart wants to lead me, everything will be okay with me. Because Baruch Hu said, V'natati panai ba'ish hahu, I will put my face in that person, chas v'chalila, to annihilate him. Rashi says, what does it mean? V'natati panai ba'isha, and I put my face, I'll give my face into that person. Rashi says, poneh ani mikol ha'asakim shali. I'm turning away from everything that I'm dealing with, and I'm going to deal with that person. Exactly what Rabbeinu says. That's chas v'chalila l'ra. L'toiva. When you come to Kodesh Baruch Hu and you beg him to bring you closer, you are keeping Kodesh Baruch Hu away from chas v'chalila, making zeres. Am Yisrael is Am Ksholef. Always balaganim, always. We need to keep HaKadosh Baruch Hu busy in bringing us closer, in taking care of us. Give us more Yeshamayim, more learning Torah, and more Emunah, and stay away from whatever to stay away. And you can't stay away from all these things unless you ask HaKadosh Baruch Hu to help you stay away from it. But that's a whole different sicha. I want to wish you and everybody, first of all, the schus of this sicha, whether it should be l'toivas Klal Yisrael, and B'ezrat Hashem Seris Toivas to Rochel Baskal in Selma. Hashem HaKadosh Baruch Hu should guard us all and bestow upon us Yeshuot Tovot, V'nechamot, and Hatzlocha, and guard all the soldiers and all those who were kidnapped and back home. B'ezrat Hashem will see Yeshua Shleim, B'ezrat Hashem, Nisim, Shen Kedubos, B'ezrat Hashem. Kol Tov and good Woche, everyone.